All right, so yo, so tonight we're cooking ground beef tostadas, and I believe the hardest part of this dish is going to be dicing up all the veggies for the fresh pico de gallo that's going to go on top. That makes it fresca, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a real quick display on how we chop it all up and get it in a bowl, and how the pico de gallo ready. And welcome to the kitchen. Later on, we're going to talk sports, real sports, with integrity. That's what the sports show is all about. Sports talk with integrity, no lies, all truth. So here we go. Let me get dicing. So cilantro, fresh cilantro, and we got a fat jalapeno right here, one fat jalapeno, and we got four juicy Roma tomatoes. Nice and hard, to cut through, to keep that pico de gallo strong, and healthy, and not all wet and gushy and mushy like salsa. But we want pico de gallo, you know what I mean? So that's what we're gonna do, What's up, Bluey? Shout out to the '80s man, 80s man, and with his Bluey outfit on for the girls, for my baby girls, So let's get the cilantro right there, and then let me get dicing on this onion real quick. Bang, bang. So, how's everybody doing on this Thursday evening? As it's been a long day. Got to see my dad today over at the VA hospital. He's doing a short stint for physical rehab at a facility in out of town. Let's just say that he's out of town for a couple days, doing a physical rehab to get his muscles strong and not have any falls. We don't want Dad falling, and when they get to the age where he's at with dementia, falling becomes an issue, and so we don't want that falling, so we got him to a rehab facility where they're going to physically rehab him, and that's what's going down. So let me get into this onion. There we go, As we get better and better with the show, I'll get more angles with the chopping and cutting and working. But tonight's just about introducing myself and letting you know who I am. I'm Jonathan Adam Palacios, and I love sports. I love life. I love the Lord. I love to cook, and I love the fact that God gave me a second chance, and I'm using it to do everything I can, especially entertain you. Like tonight, making some really good fresh pico de gallo in California. We're doing it Cali style, and that means más fresca, very, very fresh. And we're using all fresh vegetables right here from California, especially in the valley. We're trying to use valley product right here, San Joaquin Valley, Central San Joaquin Valley, and that's what it's all about. Of course, I got my wife and my mother here in the house who I take care of. And it's been a beautiful day. Wonderful day in the house, Not in the house, but, a wonderful day in the house. Worked all day, but now it's time to relax, wind down, cook, and enjoy the evening. And, of course, try to catch a little sports tonight, but more than anything, be with you folks and let you get a window into my world, which is not a bad world, praise God. I believe in the Lord heavily and with all my heart, and I'm grateful to be where I'm at. You can hear the news in the background. My mom loves to watch her ABC News. Well, news period, but, she likes her ABC News. And the one thing I don't do is I don't get political in my podcast or my show, because that's not what I'm about. To me, I'm just going to touch on that real quick. Politics divide people and divide family, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about unity, and I want to bring everybody together with food, fun, love, and sports. So, and other topics, but for the most part, I'm not going to try to go all over the map right away. But I definitely have a voice for talking. So I appreciate you listening. That's really, really real. That's word up, Lots of people know me for lots of different reasons. I've had a rough life, rough past. In case you didn't know, I had a really bad drug addiction a little over 10 years ago. And yeah, that was rough. A rough part of my life. My first go around at marriage and love and life went awry because the marriage wasn't working and drugs seemed to be my way to I guess cancel out, and I got to be real about it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I messed up in that, and I'm not gonna speak on the other person involved in that marriage because that's not for me to talk about. But I made my fair mistakes. And I'm wrong for doing the things I did, but I'm grateful I made good on that, and I redeemed myself with the Lord, and He forgave me for making mistakes. So everybody deserves a second chance. If you don't believe that, then you probably been perfect in your life and you never made a mistake. And if you did, boy, you better be walking on water, and they're probably gonna call you Jesus. So that's how I feel about that. And since then, because I was homeless. I don't know if you know this, but I was homeless. This man was homeless. Pushing 5 grocery carts. Addicted to several different really bad street drugs. All at once. And overcame that. What? Overcame that is the word. And now I no longer I'm a drug addict in any sense at all. I definitely despise drugs, and yeah. We go to onion in the bowl right here, and we got a nice big bowl of onion in here. Man, that Subway smells real good. Wow, strong. I got some tears in my eyes, but that's okay. That's what it's all about. Get in the grind. Make that Pico de Gallo. Get you in there. So, and here go the fresh fat jalapeno, colita, and here we go. So, let's get that seed out of there in the middle real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. And, yeah, so, said no to drugs finally, and walked away from that life. Paid a heavy price. Lots of directions in my life, were destroyed, including the relationship with my oldest daughter and my foster. I call him foster son because he's like a stepson to me, but to get personal, and I'm not afraid to. That I always told him he had a real father, and his father was local. And one day he would get a chance to meet him, and he actually did. And so he rekindled that relationship with that man who was his actual father. And I'm grateful. It didn't hurt me at all to see him get back with his real father. Which he needed to do. That man needed to get back in his son's life. And I'm grateful that he got to get back and rekindle that relationship with his real father. And yeah, that's good. Now, the relationship between me and my oldest daughter, I don't get to see her much at all. Yeah, I've been kept from her. And, yeah, I'd love to rekindle that relationship with her. Even though, I did for a while. But as soon as her mother found out that I was, remarried and had a new baby and started a new life, I was removed from her life altogether. And, yeah, so if you're watching or if you're seeing this, Julie Andre, I love you, baby. You're my oldest girl. There's my baby right there. You hear her in the background. That's Rosemary. That's the second chance I was given at being a father. And along with my beautiful blue-eyed Paloma. If you don't know Paloma, you get to know her. You'll never forget her. She could be the most beautiful little girl on the planet. That's the truth. And Ruth Mary came along, and I was like, whoop, wait, there's another one. Another beautiful girl. And so I got beautiful daughters, starting with my oldest. Julie Andrea, and I've been a blessed man. So, life, God's been good to me with giving me a second chance. And no longer homeless. I actually have a great income and live in one of the elite neighborhoods in my town, Fresno. And I'm blessed to say it, that I've been redeemed, and I live in a giant home in a beautiful part of town. And there are no homeless people in the neighborhood anywhere near here. And I made sure that I spent all my money I make nowadays on making sure my kids didn't live in a neighborhood riddled with drugs and homelessness and people like the way I was when I was on drugs. So, that's all glory to God. I give God all the glory for that, because you can hear Grandma in the background. No, because Ruth Mary's 2, going to be 3, so she's a handful and a half, to say the least. Here goes all the jalapeno in this fresh Pico de Gallo here. And so my life has been reconstructed altogether. And I'm built to rock now. And God built me that way because He wanted me to give Him glory, give Him honor, and make sure I let people know that He's the way and the life, the truth, So if you don't know Jesus, you might want to get to know Him, I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it, because I wouldn't want to push anything on anybody. But I can tell you this. The one thing in my life that made me stand up and stay strong and actually have integrity was to actually get Jesus in my life and be real about it. Don't go to church and still smoke weed and be a sinner and not repent. And know the difference between asking for forgiveness and repenting. Because when I actually repented and I actually said, Lord, I'm not going to do that no more, including smoking marijuana and smoking a vape and, telling people I'm this and that, but I'm not, lying. That's not how to be. You got to repent and say, I'm going to walk away from all this and I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do it the way God calls me to do it. And then when I did, here comes this huge house. And when the leasing agent said, hey, I got you a neighborhood, you can afford it. You want to live here? Well, duh. My daughter says we live in a mansion. We live in a mansion. Well, I don't call it a mansion. I call it a mansionette. But we live in a nice big house, and I'm grateful to live here. Okay? I'm not boasting. I'm bragging on my God, because He's why I'm not homeless, and I'm not a drug addict no more. I'm a redeemed individual, and I'm grateful to be that. And I'm here making food, letting you get a window of who I am, and breaking it down right now, because I don't have to break it down like this and tell you who I am and what all my bads are, but I'm going for it because I love you. And you don't know me, but I'm that kind of dude. I don't say I love you and be faking it. I mean it, My life is full of love. And here goes the cilantro. I'm going to chop this up real quick so we can put this in here. The aromas, when you put this together, they come together so nice. I'll give you a peek into that right there. So there's the jalapeno and onion in that one. And then we're going to get some cilantro in here. And go for the trifecta here. And then when we put the tomato in there, it rounds it out, And then we're ready to rock. So I'm not going to get into cooking the ground beef and throwing the tostadas together, but I just wanted to see what it's like to throw the cilantro and the onion, the savoy, and the jalapeno into the fresh Pico de Gallo, and give you a little window into that, and let you know that we ain't playing. God has been good to me, real good. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so we got that going down. Now, oh yeah, here we go. Boom. One of the most important things when you cook is cleaning. You want to clean and wash your dishes. Everybody likes to cook and make a mess, but nobody wants to wash the dishes and clean. So I like to keep myself all nice and tidy, and then wash the dishes right afterwards. Key component to making a good dinner. God is good. So we'll get to a couple tomatoes right here. Boom. Boom. And get started on that. But sports has been something big in my life since I was a small chubby kid. And what you got, baby? That's my Ruth Mary, named after my grandma Cuca. I'm from the Palacios family, which is a very big family. My dad's side of the family is very massive. He had 21 brothers and sisters. My dad did. And just what, three of them are left now. We got horrible news that my cousin called me, my uncle Lolo passed away a couple days ago. 93 years old. And wonderful man. Incredible man. And he went to heaven, you know, and a lot of respect. Love you, Uncle Lolo. You know, he definitely introduced me and my brothers to another way, you know, of being a man, you know, with integrity. And unfortunately, you know, we've all fallen prey to zero integrity as you go through life. You know, you start to forget about that sometimes. You know, very few remember that integrity is very important the whole way through. But he wanted to make sure he taught us what integrity was, and that's awesome when you have elders who teach you that in your life, and then they teach you the way of Christ. You know, and that's even more important, that when you have godly men in your life who are role models in your life and teach you that good stuff. So thank you, Uncle Lolo. You're an amazing man. I love you. I love you so much. And a lot of this podcast it comes from all those people in my life. You know, my uncles, my aunts, from that 21 Palacios family. You know, I was thinking like the 21 Palacios, like kind of like a 21 gun salute to all you 21 Palacios aunts and uncles. Love all of you. All of you are in heaven, and the ones who are still here, Uncle Manuel, and of course my dad. It's just really cool to come from a family that large. My grandfather came from Mexico, from Chihuahua, Mexico, and married my grandma Cuca, and decided to have a gigantic family. And I'm a part of that beautiful family. And I don't have a blood son of my own, but I'm working on that. God gave me a beautiful wife, a new wife, my beautiful Angelica Michelle Palacios, and the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life when I met her. And I thought, Lord, one, she's too young for me, and man, I don't know what to think, you know. And then lo and behold, we fell in love with each other after a while, you know. I did try to set her up with other guys in my life. I knew younger guys in my life who were in the music scene like I was, and I'm like, go for this guy, go for that guy. He's younger than me, you know. He'd be more your type, you know. And it didn't work out that way. We wound up coming back to each other and being friends, you know. And so God eventually said, you know, this is going to work, but you're going to have to get married, you know. And so guess what? I loved her and I married her, and I love her with all my heart. Now, 7 years later, married, going strong, you know. And 2 beautiful daughters, 7-year-old Paloma, a blue-eyed, blonde-haired daughter, and then Ruth Mary right here, named after my grandma Cuca, my grandma Ruth Mary. And I want a son now, and so we're working on making a son. I would love to have a son in my life, you know. And so so that's what's going down in my life right now. The shop is open, and we're currently working on having a son. What? I may not be the youngest guy in the room, but I sure am the most blessed guy in the room, I feel like. And I want a son, and God's telling me, be like Moses, just keep going. You're a strong man. You have a lot to look forward to. I'm starting a brand new business that I believe is going to make me a multi-millionaire. And this podcast is just a fun part of it, you know. So, all right, you know, welcome aboard to the Jonathan Adam Palacios Sports Podcast, where we actually cook food and talk sports, legit, you know, and with my family in the background. That's what makes it genuine, you know. Like, we're a fully functional family. I have my parents I take care of, and everybody lives in this great big giant house. We didn't just get a big house just to be a couple of people to live in. I got it so my entire family could live here with us, you know? And so that's what's going down right in the Central San Joaquin Valley. And yeah, this Pico de Gallo is almost done. I'm almost done with it. And yeah, you know. So welcome aboard. Tonight we're going to talk some baseball, but heavily for the weekend because of the boxing matches going on this weekend. We're going to get into some boxing tonight and the integrity, I believe, that needs to get back in boxing and all sports, period. And then a little bit about Pete Rose. You know, I saw Pete Rose in the news, and I thought, boy, there's a guy I grew up, you know, watching and knowing in baseball. And then especially my Giants, you know, playing good baseball this year. Having fun. That's what it's all about. Looks like the G-men are having fun this year playing baseball. You know, running the pads, pushing people around the bases. It's fun. So, yeah, get on board. We're going to have a good time tonight on the podcast. You know, and God bless, and God bless. So, hang on, let me finish this up right here and get you a look into how this Pico de Gallo came out. Yeah, the onions got my eyes a little bit watery because that was one fat onion. And yeah. It's going down. It's going down. So let me get me a spoon and let me get a fork because that's what I like to do with. I like to do with a fork. So we're gonna scoop this around, and y'all's gonna get a peek into some really good Pico de Gallo here. Well, I believe it's good Pico de Gallo. And yeah, I love to make my own Fresca Pico de Gallo, and they're not like it. Honestly, you can buy it from the store all day long, and like, I buy it at Bond's sometimes right here by the house. It's good. It's good when you ain't got no Pico de Gallo. But you know, my mom and my wife love Pico de Gallo. I like the salsas that we buy from the different places, establishments we go to. That's good, but
look at that.
that's what's going down. That's what's going down. These Pico de Gallo. Real good.